What's going on, everybody? We're back with the Real Bodybuilding Podcast, episode number 31, and I got the man, Brad Rowe, with me. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing good, Fouad. How you been?
Very, very good. I keep seeing your Instagram popping up, and I keep seeing different physique shots. It seems like you're always shredded. What's going on?
I feel like a fat boy right now, but yeah, I mean, for me, as much as I love bodybuilding, I realize that structurally, I'm never going to be an elite guy, so just adding on endless amounts of mass isn't really going to improve my physique that much and improve placings.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, staying in shape and looking good year round and being marketable is kind of what I built my brand on. I do commercial acting and things like that. I'm always available for photo shoots. So just over the years, it's kind of been the most beneficial for me to kind of stay in good shape.
So you kind of touched on something that I've actually been really curious about, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw you, what year did you turn pro in?
13.
Okay, so I saw you turn pro, and then I saw you like start building mass and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the last couple of years, I've seen you almost not necessarily smaller, but you've streamlined your physique.
Yeah.
Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I saw that. I've done a couple of off seasons where I go up to 280, and when I come down, I just feel like the only thing that grew is my waist.
Yeah.
So it didn't improve my physique at all. So now the past couple of years, I've just kind of focused on, getting my delts to pop a little more, my lats to get a little wider, and really focus on trying to keep my waist down as much as possible, atrophy those obliques a little bit so that I have a much better flow on stage.
Can you atrophy your obliques? Do you think that's possible?
I mean, if you look back from my beginning of my career, like when I turned pro till now, my waist is significantly different.
Your waist looks a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But I wonder, was it, okay, we're touching on a whole bunch of different things, and we're going to get into them. We're going to get into them like more specifically for those of you watching. But let's start with the thing where like I want to talk to you about the most, which is your waist.
Yeah.
So when you started, like you said, your waist kind of started to grow a little bit, and then you kind of brought it down. Now, I always thought it was almost impossible to shrink your obliques. But yours have, like your waist has gotten smaller and tighter, and you pull an even deeper vacuum now.
Yeah.
What is like the main thing you attribute that to?
I'm going to say that staying away from squats and deadlifts and a lot of bent over stuff where you're really engaging your core and you're thickening up those muscles. Part of that is because of injury, truly. I mean, I love the squat. I love the deadlift. I grew up as an athlete, played football in college, so that's all we did. And I was always taught never wear a belt, because you wanted your core as strong as possible. So I've been thick-waisted since I was a kid, and it served a great purpose as a football player, but as a bodybuilder, it didn't. And then, I hurt my back really bad in, 13, herniated discs. And pretty much since then, I've had to back off doing deadlifts and squats and really any like bent over movement that puts any pressure on my lower back and makes you engage your core more. And I truly feel like doing those things or staying away from those has helped kind of bring things down a little bit.
It does make sense. But at the same time, like the opposite argument is, what do you say to those people who say like all the guys in the 70s and 80s used to squat and deadlift and everything? They didn't have thick waists. Why do you think we struggle with that?
They're also not even close to our size. That's the biggest fucking bullshit argument about all this stuff. Everybody talks about quality of physiques, but yet we are so much bigger than the guys back then. Even looking at the 90s with Cormier and Flex and all those guys, I'm fucking 240 on stage, and I'm small at 5'9". But yet Cormier, Flex at his best was 218. Cormier was in the low 230s. So just we've gotten so much bigger, and with that becomes a decrease in quality, I believe, because we're just chasing size.
But do you think that's the exercises, or do you think maybe it's the amount of food we're eating in combination with the exercise?
I think it's a combination of everything, truly.
Yeah.
I can tell, like, I just started doing carbs again, and I already feel like my waist is just blown up. And I know that a lot of that's just inflammation. But if you're continually in an inflamed state, then, things are going to grow. Things are going to get bigger and push out more. So we'll take step one as a lot of the bent over compound exercises and squats and things like that. Yeah. But step two I want to talk to you about was, I know you're known for a lot of keto. Yeah.
How long have you been doing keto?
Over a year now, consistently. So it was something that I kind of dabbled in between like prep and off season every year. Just kind of a health phase, a detox for 8 weeks or so. Come off all the gear, and I just started doing keto just to reduce inflammation and increase insulin sensitivity. And I found that I felt great when I was doing it. And then last year, I kind of decided I was going to take the whole year off. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this experiment where I'm gonna do keto for an entire year and prove that I can maintain a very worthy physique off of this.
Yeah.
That would just feel better and improve health markers as well. There's the old dietary guidelines that high fats and cholesterol affect your HDL, LDL, and things like that. But actually, my blood work improved with quality fats. And then, like I said, from a fasting and keto standpoint, I'm eating less voluminous foods. I was fasting, 16 upwards of 20 hours a day, at least 6 days a week. And I felt like $1 million, and I was able to maintain like 235, 240 while on a true HRT regimen by doing that.
Let's stay with the keto for 1 second. So I want to stay with it because I've tried it myself. The longest I think I've ever done it for is probably 6 weeks. And I noticed the same thing you noticed. I felt amazing. My stomach actually felt flatter.
Yep.
And all my blood work markers got better.
Yep.
But I feel like I suffered in the gym. How are you able to maintain the strength and the size on keto?
So honestly, one of our biggest mind fucks as a bodybuilder is not being able to get that pump. People are worried about the pump. And, that's why you see a lot of guys not get in shape on stage because they're so worried about looking flat or feeling flat. For me, that was never an issue. I don't care about what I look like when I'm in the gym or how things feel when I'm in the gym. It's just all about how much damn work are you putting in every day. Mm-hmm. So if you're putting in the intensity and you're training balls out, then, and as long as you're matching nutrition, then everything's fine. It doesn't matter how you look and how you feel.
But don't you think that, and I'm not trying to I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Don't you think that in my example, I chased, you're right, I chased that pump. But I kind of gauge my workouts by that pump. So if I'm not getting a pump at all or very little, I feel like my workout's not what it's supposed to be. Do you get that at all? Or you've kind of thought past that?
I kind of thought past that. I know what my effort needs to be at. I know where my intensity needs to be at. And as long as I match that each workout, then I'm happy with how things go.
Is your strength the same and endurance and all that?
Weaker. Definitely weaker a little bit.
Okay.
And endurance is probably the same.
So you've decided that instead of trying to be, because I think one of the things I did was once I saw my waist get a little bit thicker, I decided I had to be bigger everywhere else to overcome the thickness of the waist.
Yeah.
And it's a never ending, it's a losing game because the bigger your chest gets, your shoulders get, the bigger your waist gets.
Yeah.
So you decided that, okay, I have enough muscle. I'm just going to work on shrinking my waist. But I don't understand how you're able to keep the size because I felt like my muscles shrank immediately.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to the newbie. That's the thing. I train with that device every single day.
How do you train? For those of you who don't know, the newbie is, explain the newbie to these people, to everybody listening.
So the newbie is a neurological device. It's not a typical stim machine. It sends a signal, a DC current that mimics our own body's nervous system signal. So when we put it on different muscle groups that we're training and we crank you up, we're eliciting a 95 to 100% muscle fiber recruitment on every rep you do, making training extremely efficient. The most elite athletes in the world are lucky if they're getting 60 to 65% recruitment. The reason why we have to train heavy, we have to do drop sets and all these other intensity techniques is to recruit more muscle fiber. And we're doing this by adding an electric stimulation to it.
Yeah.
So you actually physically train through this. This isn't one of those stim machines, like the stupid compact shit that these people promote. All that does is forcibly cause a contraction, which absolutely does nothing whatsoever. It's good if you have a little injury and you just want to warm up the muscle, but this actually will improve neurological function. If you have nerve damage in an area and continued use of this, we're actually forcibly regrow new neural pathways to improve neurological connection. So this device, it's a therapeutic device first and foremost, made for recovery from surgeries, Parkinson's, MS, anything neurologically related. Okay. This can help with. Different frequencies do different things.
So how did you get hooked up with that? Did they just come to the gym and decide they want to try it on you, or like?
My wife had a serious accident about 2 years ago now.
I remember that.
Yeah, she was doing a hammer strength shoulder press, facing in, and the seat collapsed with weight overhead. She went into a split and tore both of her rec fem tendon insertions in her hip. It was just enough where she didn't need surgery, but she was supposed to be in a walker for 12 weeks. And Leroy Brown, who's a power lifter, he's trained at Gold's a couple times at Mike O'Hearn, and he met us once and just became like fans of ours and started following us, and he saw the injury. And he had been doing stuff with NewFit, so he sent over info to them and like, hey, these are great guys. You know, she's awesome. Can you get them a device so she can heal faster? So they loaned us a device. By 12 weeks, she was leg pressing at about 70% strength when she was still. Yeah. So we sent the device back because they had a shortage of machines. And then that following August, I ruptured my bicep tendon at a photo shoot in Dallas. And they were actually there doing a demo because it was the 5-year anniversary of Destination Dallas. Yeah. And they're like, listen, we'll get you back on stage in no time. I promise. We'll get you a device. So at like 5 weeks post-op, they got me a device. And I ended up stepping on stage 14 weeks post-op. And I was curling a 50-pound dumbbell at 14 weeks post-op when they said it was going to be 16 weeks for us to be able to do any direct bicep work whatsoever. You know, and I took 5th in Romania. So once that happened, I was like, this thing's crazy. So I got back from Romania, and I did my first actual workout with it. Because all I did during that phase was just rehab. Yeah. I trained arms, and like an idiot, I did a full arm workout. Yeah. And I was fucked. Literally like T-Rex. My arms are stuck like this. I'm not shitting you for like 9 days. I couldn't. Yeah. So I was like, this shit's crazy.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you a question. Did you have to buy it, or did they just let you use it, or?
Well, they loaned it to me the first time that my wife got hurt. Then I leased it when I got hurt, and then I ended up buying it.
How much is it?
$18,000.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it's a hefty price tag. But if you're a trainer or you're a physical therapist or something like that, I'm pulling an easy 20 to 25K a month training people on it. You know,
because you're kind of renting it to people for their workouts. Is that what you're doing?
Well, I train people and I use
like you're using it on them, right?
Yeah. And
are you able to charge more for the client because you're using it on them?
Yep. Yeah. I'm pulling like $175 to $200 a session with that, depending if it's rehab or training. Yeah. And I'm booked. You know, I could have 7 to 9 clients a day, all day, every day if I want.
Wow.
So, great.
Okay. So let me go back.
We're all over the place.
No, we're all over the place. So let me go back because I'm still stuck on the keto thing.
The keto, and that's how I maintain the muscle.
Yeah, that's right. But I want to know, let me ask you this. Do you think you would do the keto thing? Because you said you've been doing keto for a year.
Yeah.
How long have you had the machine for?
A year.
So you kind of did them together.
Right. Yeah.
So do you think you would be doing keto if it wasn't for the machine?
I would have done it without a doubt, yeah. Just because I set my mind to doing this experiment for the year, just to see what happened. I prepped everything. You know, I did when I started, when I got ready for Japan, I was 14 weeks out, and I grew off keto. You know, I was about 235, and then I started increasing fats like crazy. I spent the first 7 weeks of that 14-week prep adding tissue. I got up to 270. Yeah. And cut back down, and I was 242 on stage.
Wait a minute. You got up to I'm sorry to keep interrupting. I'm just blown away by this. You got up to 270
doing keto. Yeah.
Now, are you doing true keto, like 30% protein?
Not the Dave Palumbo bullshit where you're eating 7 ounces of protein and whatever. I was getting, especially during the bulking phase, I was getting about 75% of my calories from fats.
What is that diet? Because listen, I tried keto, and I guess I can't say I did a real keto then. I guess mine was more a modified version with the higher protein, which isn't really keto. It's just no carbs.
Right.
But I still found it really hard to make meals. What are you eating to eat?
So like a typical meal, I'd do like 3.5, 4 ounces of beef. You know, like I'd get a good tri-tip. So or like a ribeye, something that's really fatty. Yeah. So about 4 ounces of that, and then I'd do about like 30 grams of grass-fed butter melted on top of it with some cheese in there. And then I'd do like 150 grams of guac. I'm addicted to pork rinds. I'd sit down and eat a whole bag of pork rinds with that meal, and then have a couple of nuts. Yeah. Costco made these egg bites. So they're whole eggs, bacon, and cheese. Yeah. And for 4 of the little egg bites, it gave you 40 grams of protein and 50 grams of fat. Then I'd have a handful of nuts or these Keto Perfect bars, which are 10 grams of collagen peptide protein,
Okay.
with 20 grams of fat from MCT and almond butter.
Okay,
so
wait a
I
minute.
was training people all day. It was easy. I just eat 4 of those egg bites and one of the keto bars. And I was just, 3 bites and your whole meal's done. That was the beauty of it, the convenience of being able to eat a small meal.
Can you give me one meal? Like what is breakfast? Just give me one meal. What's breakfast?
Breakfast would be like that beef meal. I do like
just the beef. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 ounces of beef with a ton of grass-fed butter, or some duck fat, half a bag of pork rinds and some guac.
Okay.
Because I was only eating 2 to 3 meals a day as well.
So, that's the other thing. So you're okay. That's a whole other thing. Okay. So, so you're doing. How did you okay? I guess I haven't done anything close to that. How did you feel eating a meal with that much fat in it? Because I've never done that.
Like $1 million. No, like I'm a gassy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I would not fart at all until maybe right before I went to bed. The fats they worked so well on me. I had no gas, no bloating.
Yeah.
So I felt like $1 million.
Is this something that you've tried on anybody else, or is this because I know sometimes some things work great for one person and not for another?
Right. I mean, I've tried it on other clients. I prep between 40 and 50 people. So I do experiments with them, especially not really in prep mode itself, but mostly like I said, in between phases. It's kind of a detox period. And I've seen people that, just their bodies went to shit and their blood work went to shit off of it. So I don't think it's a great thing for everybody. Every body has its own type of diet and its own type of nutritional breakdown that it needs to perform its best. So, I mean, I've seen people that just didn't respond well off of it at all, severe diarrhea, all these other issues.
Really? So you think this is something that you just found that's like the puzzle that fits your body?
Right. Yeah. 100%.
What about when you first started it? Was it scary at first, or did it just click right away?
That just clicked right away. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've never, I think maybe it's something I've always wanted to try. I've never tried like 100% keto, like with all the fats.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be different, because I never felt good on my version, which is not, like I said, not real keto.
Right. You probably did. Yeah, you did. You definitely weren't eating enough fats to, increase the ketone levels, which once you get into ketosis, the mental clarity and everything is amazing.
Yeah.
And pre and post workout, I would do like 40 grams of MCT oil for pre and intra, and then another 30 or 40 post too. So you're getting a lot of really fast acting fats right away. So, and once I get a pump, when I started training, I'd actually fill out pretty good. I'd look flat when I walk in the gym. And once I start training, everything would fill out, volumize.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, wow, I'm blown away by this. So so you did this for a year, but you said you're only eating 2 or 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
So what was the time frame? Like, when did you start eating? When did you stop eating?
Typically my last meal would be about 8 p.m. Because I work till about 6. By the time I get home and unpack and shower to eat at 8, and then I wouldn't eat again until 2, sometimes 4 o'clock the next day.
Okay.
And all I'd have is just water and black coffee in that fasting phase, a true fast. No gum, no artificial sweeteners, nothing. Like a true fast.
Is coffee considered part of a true fast?
Yeah, black coffee.
Okay, because I was under the impression that coffee released certain enzymes that would actually negate your fast.
You can't have a ton of it, but like about 6 ounces. I do like a little 6-ounce cold brew and have that, but mostly just all alkalinized water is what I lived off of.
Why the alkalinized water?
I mean, I don't know. You can think 2 ways of it. Obviously we run acidic as human beings, and everything wants to go in homeostasis. So as soon as you put an alkaline product into your stomach, it hits an acidic area. So it's just going to neutralize. But I don't know. It tastes better. So fuck it. Why not try it?
Well, no, I'm not like, honestly.
Yeah, that's just like, I've never seen any true evidence that proves that drinking alkaline water actually affects our body's pH, because we're creatures of homeostasis.
Yeah.
So whether you're extremely acidic or extremely alkaline, your body balances itself out. So,
one of the theories I have that actually goes to your point is that if you're eating a lot of acidic foods all the time, your body's working harder to bring you back to that. Yeah. To bring you back to that level.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that you're already you're kind of helping your body by not.
A little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're fasting from 8 to 4. That's 20 hours.
Yeah. Almost like leg days. Because obviously I didn't need legs. So like when I train legs, I'd fast for 20 plus hours. Off days, I'd fast for 20 hours. Every once in a while, like every 3 or 4 weeks, I threw in a 36-hour fast in. And then bigger body parts that I needed to, like back and chest, I'd do just like 16 hours of fasting and try to get some nutrients in.
Did you say a 36-hour fast?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just water and coffee.
Yeah. The whole time.
How are you not fucking 200 pounds? How's this possible? It's like goes against everything we know.
But it's same thing with you, Fouad. I mean, you have so much dense muscle that you've created. It's really hard to lose that much muscle. You know, if you're a newbie and you're trying to build tissue and you're first coming up in the sport, I don't recommend it whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not foolish. And I also know that eating carbs is the best way to build tissue. You know, it's just, this is something that I wanted to try personally and something that fit my lifestyle and made me feel good and healthy. And once I'm done with bodybuilding, I'm 100% sticking to keto the rest of my life.
Yeah. So how do you get through 36 hours without, like, does the hunger is not too much for you?
No, because you build your way up to it. I mean, on like the first, like hours 14 through 16 are probably the biggest bitch. Okay. And then after that, once you pass like 20 hours, you feel high. Like literally, you feel like you've taken Adderall or something. Like your mind is just, and that's the hardest part, is trying to fall asleep that first night.
Yeah.
Is when like, it's not even the hunger pains. It's just, you feel like you're on Adderall, like you're high.
Yeah.
Like I had to smoke a shit ton of weed just to bring myself down in order to sleep. But outside that, and then once you wake up the next day, you're like $1 million. So my waist was retardedly small.
Is weed part of the fast? Like can you smoke weed?
I fall asleep too easy. I wish, like, there's people that are like, oh, I smoke and train. I can't do that. If I smoked, I'd either fall asleep on a machine or I'd just start talking to someone for like 6 hours and not even get a workout in. So I do it to relax at night and go to bed.
What benefits have you? Why did you start the fasting? What was the purpose? Just for your waist, or is there something else?
Waist. You know, try to get some of that inflammation down, and also just health purposes. As you know, after about 16 hours, your body actually goes in autophagy, which is the ability to heal tissue. So, especially in our digestive system, when we're always processing food, the mucosal lining in the gut and everything can't properly heal itself. So you're giving your intestinal tract an opportunity to heal.
Okay.
Plus, you're increasing ghrelin levels and all these other things that help boost metabolism and strengthen immunity and everything else. So there's just so many health benefits that go along with it.
So you think if somebody fasted, because I've talked to John about this, John Meadows. Yeah. And John thinks like a 24-hour fast once a week could benefit everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like whether you're doing, sorry, he said like whether you're doing carbs or keto, 24 hours a week would be amazing for you.
Yeah. 100%.
So, okay. So what's your competition plans then? If let's say now, cause I've seen some recent pictures of you. You look like your stomach looks great. Like you look like you've shrank it considerably. So what's the plan for this year? Do you keep shrinking it and get back on stage, or are you not competing anymore, or how's that?
No, actually, so I'm going to make a big push this year. Last year, I promised my wife I was going to take the whole year off, and then I got the itch around August, so I decided to jump in Japan. She was so busy with her dog rescue and everything, I was like, screw it, Mike, you're not around anyway, so I might as well do something.
Yeah.
And I want this to be kind of my retirement run. So I'm going to hit the Honor Brazil. I'm just 13 and a half weeks out.
Okay.
I'll probably jump in New York, then do the Cal, and then they have a new show in Boston, which is my home area. So my family an opportunity to see me compete. They never have. And then I might take July, August off, and I'll hit some shows in the fall. I want to travel and do a lot more international shows too, and try to just not only build my name internationally, but just go take advantage of bodybuilding, go see different places. Like going to Japan was cool. Me and my wife made a trip out of it. So just things like that. So I'm going to try to hit like 5 or 6 shows this year, and God willing, I can do decent at a couple of them, and I can get an invite to the Arnold next year. And that's my bucket list shows.
Yeah.
Arnold. And then I'm hanging it up, having kids, and just spreading my knowledge and working on people.
So how old are you? You're not that old, are you?
36.
So you're 36. So you're planning a retirement at 37?
About that. Yeah. Well, I'll be 37 and a half.
Why? It's not that it's a bad idea or anything. It seems like not the normal bodybuilding story. Why so early?
My aspirations in life are kind of the opposite of what bodybuilding is. So right now I'm in the process of trying to open an elite performance center, and it's going to bring in all these crazy technological modalities like the new fit, like biohacking stuff like infrared saunas, red light therapy, PEMF, a place, a one-stop shop, a hormone and wellness clinic, everything, a one-stop shop to perform and feel your best.
Yeah.
And for me to be the face of that, I need to be smaller. I need to be lean, mean, and look and be an athlete again. Another thing I did last year is I focused more on being an athlete.
Yeah.
Twice a week I was doing athletic work, and then all the way up to 1 week out I was doing box jumps and plyos and all this stuff. So I wanted to get back to being an athlete and shrink down to about 225, 230, and just be the face of health and wellness.
So you played football in high school and college?
Yeah.
What position?
I was a running back.
What happened to football? Was it just that you just didn't get drafted, or you decided not to do it anymore?
I didn't play at a big enough school. Really, I played at a small Division I school, and I kind of screwed my own career up with being a dumbass and getting motorcycle accidents twice going into.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Going into my sophomore year after starting the whole year and being rookie conference of the player of the year, I got into a motorcycle accident on my 21st birthday and ripped my knee up, missed all preseason.
Holy shit.
So just gave me a little slap on the wrist. And then the following year, I moved down to South Carolina to live with my best friend in Myrtle Beach for that summer.
Yeah.
And I flipped a bike doing 70 on the highway and took a huge chunk out of my knee, and they wouldn't clear me for practice because they were afraid of infection.
Yeah.
And then once I did get cleared, I tore my hamstring and missed like the first 4 games. And then my career was just kind of done after that. And I focused on, I wanted to be a doctor. So I was like, what, screw this. I want to graduate on time. So I actually quit football my senior year, which was my biggest mistake because I needed to do internships and stuff like that with all these doctors so that I could graduate on time and have a strong enough resume to apply to medical school. And I'm a fucking bodybuilder. So that didn't.
Wait a minute. You just skipped over like a whole bunch of shit. So you're like, I want to be a doctor. Fuck it. Now I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah. No, I went to, I took a year off after I graduated. I went to grad school and I got my master's at a graduate program focused on getting people into medical school. Like we took first year medical school classes, did great. And I was working, doing construction at the time. So I was broke as shit. I couldn't even apply to medical school. And that's when Ed Connors reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to get into bodybuilding. Him and Adam Silver, who was a fitness model agent for a while.
Where were you living at the time?
I was in New Hampshire.
You're in New Hampshire. So they reached out to you. I think I got a message from Adam Silver way back in the day as well. So you're trying to get into med school and you were working construction trying to do that. Yeah.
And I was just always in good shape. I was the ultimate warrior one year for Halloween.
Yeah.
That was my MySpace profile picture. And
MySpace.
So Ed had reached out to me, and I knew who the fuck Ed was. I thought he was just some old creepy dude, so I ignored him.
Yeah.
And then Adam Silver reached out, and he was like, "Oh, you want to be a fitness model?" I'm like, "Not really, but if it pays." Yeah. And he booked me a bunch of like big stuff. I got like a 5-year GNC ad campaign right away, and muscle and fitness. I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And then I moved to New York to live with him. Mm-hmm. And got into commercial work, and he convinced me to compete. So I started getting ready for my first show, and I was down in New York, and I went into the bathroom. I took a big shit, and I came out, and I hit a crazy vacuum for him. Yeah. And he was like, oh, shit. He's like, I know this company that's trying to do this throwback to 70s. He's like, put the picture and send you in. Sure enough, it was Universal.
Oh, okay.
So, Universal signed me like a week before my first show, and I was like, all right, well, I'm getting paid to do this, so I'll put med school on the back burner for a couple of years and see what happens. And then like a month later, Ed reached back out again and flew me out to California. And once I got out here, I was like, all right, I'm moving here. Sold all my shit, moved out.
You just loved it that much. You just knew.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy story, man. So you started the modeling thing before the bodybuilding thing.
Yeah. Yep.
So, because I know for a lot of guys, it starts with the bodybuilding thing and then they decide to do some auditions and shit. So you did the other way around.
Right.
Why did you like doing auditions and the commercials and all that shit?
It has its ups and downs. You know, like right now I still do commercial work, but it's kind of dying at this point. But the best thing is just because like with Hulu and Netflix and everything, the number of commercials have significantly reduced. And the past couple of years, they haven't done anything with muscle. Like literally I went on like 2 auditions all of last year. Mm-hmm. The year before that was like 2 auditions. So one of the only reasons why I do it, like, so part of last year, me taking the year off, I thought about, screw bodybuilding. I'm going to drop 20 pounds. And I'm going to try for lead acting roles. You know, every time I was on set, directors and producers were very impressed with me of how I understood direction and flow, how things are supposed to go. And they're like, listen, you can really do this. Give it a shot. And I signed up for classes, and I thought, I'm like, do I really want to be a fucking actor? I'm like, that's a horrible life. First of all, you're lucky enough if you book work. Most of the time you're starving to death and waiting tables or doing whatever. I'm like, and if you do, you're on set like 12, 16 hours a day for months on end. It wasn't the lifestyle that I thought about that I really want. Like, I don't want to be famous. I don't care about that. I just want to be financially secure. So I said, screw it. And I still do the commercial work because I'm part of the union. And if I make a certain amount of money every year through commercial work, I get to keep my health insurance. And my health insurance is amazing. So that's literally the only reason why I do it.
Really?
Yeah, it saves me like $12,000 to $13,000 a month, plus the 20 grand that I make. So it's like a $30-something thousand swing.
So it
makes it worth it.
How often do you go and not book? Because I've done like a bunch of auditions myself here.
Yeah.
And I think I landed like two commercials like way back in the day.
Yeah.
And then I missed out on like 8, and I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. So how many times do you go and land a book something, and how many times do you go and it just nothing pans out?
I'm pretty lucky. I book about 80% of the stuff I go on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's like, it was like me, like back in the day when Cali Muscle was out here, it was either me or Cali Muscle.
Yeah.
And now Luca Pentazona, big Italian bodybuilder out of Gold's Gym, was just a monster. So it's either, if they want like a monster, they go with Luca. If they want someone that's pretty, they go with me. So that's kind of what it's been over the past couple of years.
So last year, sounds like you thought about hanging it up.
Yeah. I was ready. Let's be honest, you start thinking about long-term, you start thinking about family and the health repercussions that go into this. I love the sport to death. I love the training. I love the diet. I don't like the chems. I don't like what it takes to be at a certain level. So I'm kind of at a point where I'm over it.
I was going to ask you that when you were talking about the keto diet. So when you're on the keto and you said you're adding tissue, is your gear on high, like, are you on high doses, or are you just?
I actually back things down a lot this year. Like I said, I attribute a lot to it to New Fit.
Can you give me an example if you don't mind? You don't have to, but what does backing off look like?
So currently right now, my cycle that I started last week is 600 milligrams of Test E a week, 400 milligrams of Primo, 400 milligrams of EQ, and 6 IUs of growth right now.
Nobody's going to believe you.
I know.
I'm just joking. I'm just saying. Yeah. No, the only reason I say that is because that's actually a reasonable stack.
Right. It's not crazy.
But people just, when they look at us, they think
1,500, 2 grams of test and 700
a gram of this and a gram of that. Yeah. It's like, So you think that's enough for you just to maintain your muscle or even put some on?
Put on. That's essentially what I did last prep. So that's what I did for the first, I added 4 weeks of Ment at 280 milligrams a week, which I thought was just, the estrogen on that was just too crazy. So I don't want to do that again. Yeah. But for my first 7 weeks, I did that same exact cycle. And then I added in 280 milligrams. I dropped the Primo and added in 280 milligrams of Tren and 280 milligrams of Mast. In the last 4 weeks, I added in 50 milligrams of Anavar. And that was my prep cycle last year.
That's not a lot, considering whatever. Yeah. Do you think have you ever been on high doses, or you always been like a moderate dose guy?
I've never been over a gram of test, never been over like 400 or 500 grams of EQ. Never tried DECA or anything like that. So always been pretty moderate, definitely under 3 grams a week for sure, 2.5, 3 grams, even at my peak.
It doesn't seem like you've suffered any of the side effects. Like, you still have your hair, like your skin looks good. Like, you think you attribute that to like being pretty methodical in your approach? Yeah.
And honestly, those things are more important than anything else. Actually one of my clients was giving me shit. I took a photo. Me and my wife went to San Diego this past weekend for a little night getaway. Yeah. And I posted a picture from 3 years ago. And that day he was like, bro, your hairline. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like going through all these old photos. Like, did my hairline really move? I'm like, you fucking asshole. I went like, I'm sitting there showing my wife, showing some of my clients. I'm like, did my hairline change? They're like, no. I'm like, dick.
Don't lose your hair, dude. It sucks.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks. What I'm amazed at, I'm fascinated by the methodical approach you've taken, because most guys don't do anything the way you've talked about. Like most guys, and I'll use me as I'm most guys. If they're not winning, they want to get bigger, and the bigger means more and more and more and more and more. And you've kind of like took a step back before you even got there.
I mean, I'm a fucking competitor. I don't like losing. That's
of course.
Sure. I step on stage and there's times that guys place ahead of me and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how the fuck did they beat me?
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. And then there's guys that I know that no matter what the fuck I do, I'm never going to touch that. I'm a very realist when it comes to competing. But there's one thing that I was taught. Ed Connors taught me this. Tell me who got third place in Tampa last year.
I don't know. Yeah.
Tell me who won Vancouver 3 years ago.
Me. Actually, I think that was like, I don't remember actually. Anyway, go ahead.
Fans don't know. They don't care. Yeah. Your fan base just wants to see you on stage and present your package.
That's right.
So from a marketing standpoint, just getting up there and competing is the world to them. They don't care if you're first or if you're fifth or sixth. Sponsors may care, but if you're smart and you know how to market yourself properly, that shit doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So it's about bringing a physique that you're happy with, that you like, and just competing, getting on stage.
Okay, so let me agree with you here. From a marketing standpoint and from a financial standpoint and from a fan base support, all that, I agree with you 100%. So like I haven't competed since 2017.
Yeah.
And my fan base has actually grown in the last 3 years than it did in the previous 3 years when I was competing. But like you said, you're a competitor. So I never thought about any of that shit when I was competing. I was like, I just want to fucking win.
Yeah.
So you were able to like stop yourself from going to that level where you're like, I don't care about everything but winning. It seems like you kind of thought about everything all at once.
I thought big picture more than anything. I thought longevity. To me, a successful career as a pro would have been competing for 10 years and doing like 30 pro shows. That's a successful career. I mean, how many guys do you see that are flash in the pan? They come out, they're big hits, they're the next new thing, and all of a sudden 2-3 years later they fall off, whether it be health issues or whatever. So consistency in this game is the most important thing to me. Mm-hmm. And just about building a name for yourself and a brand is kind of what I've always been about. And I know that for me, trying to be a mass monster or being the pretty boy, what's going to serve me best? Being the pretty boy.
Yeah.
Staying in shape, not looking like I'm all geared out, all the time, and having longevity in this sport was always the winning formula for me.
I respect what you've done this year a lot, because it takes a very strong mind to be like, you know what, I'm going to step back and revamp this whole thing. And you've kind of done everything like against the grain. Like I don't know any of the pros who are fasting or on like 100% keto diet,
right,
and are still maintaining their physiques. Like it's crazy what you've done. It makes me want to try it, because my main focus, if I ever get back to it, is like, I want to shrink my waist.
Right.
But I'm fucking terrified. You couldn't get me to like, hey, go on 0 carbs and eat, half a gram a pound of protein per pound.
Right.
For the next 6. I couldn't do it. I would freak out. I just don't know where that mental strength comes from, where you just set your mind to it and that's it.
It's just, I knew I had nothing to lose. I'm fortunate I have a sponsor that if I retired tomorrow, he'd be the first one to congratulate me.
Who's your sponsor?
With Anabolic Design, AD.
Okay. Oh, okay. And, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with them for going on 5 years now, about to sign my 5-year contract. And Joe's told me a million times, he's like, I'm sponsoring Brad Rowe. I'm not sponsoring an athlete. I don't care if you compete. He's like, I think you're actually a more valuable asset not competing, because he's trying to get into more like a health and wellness spectrum. And that's kind of, more mainstream stuff. And I can be that mainstream kind of layover between, hardcore bodybuilding and this boy mainstream look. So, I'm fortunate just to say, I can do things my own way, how I want to do it. And I have a great support team behind me. And not only that, but I make enough money on my own that I don't need a sponsor either. If you
Yeah.
drop me, it's a little bit of a hit, but I've created enough name for myself, and I make enough money that I don't need that. I'm not reliant upon that. So, that's why I was able to do it.
How did you know that Cali was the place? Because I've always dreamt of, every bodybuilder wants to move out to Cali and live there. And how did you know when you got there, you're like, this is it, I'm moving out here?
Yeah, I mean, you go from New Hampshire, snowy, shitty winter, and then you come out here and it's beautiful palm trees, and I actually got tricked. It's like the first time I came out, it was the Flex Pro that you had done, and
okay.
They're in that Gold's Gym, and there's all these pros at the gym, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I moved out there, and then once I got here, there was no pros.
And then they all left.
It was like Jerome Ferguson and Big Will were the only ones at the gym, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is before Dexter came back or even Roden was around. Yeah. I'm like, ugh. But the weather was great, and the opportunities were there, and I was booking commercials, and I made a name for myself. I met my wife; she's born and raised in LA, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, I hate it here with a passion.
Do you really?
I want out more than anything. Yeah.
Why?
Just cost of living, the homeless issue. People just suck. Traffic's miserable. So
I've been out there a few times. I don't know how you do it with the traffic and everything, man. It's insane.
It killed me. Like we bought our house 2 years ago, and we bought over in Inglewood, which I'm only 9.8 miles from the gym. So when I go at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm there in 16, 17 minutes.
Yeah.
When I come home at 6 o'clock at night, it's an hour to hour and 15 minutes to get home, and I just want to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm at the gym twice a day, so it's ate my soul, a year ago, big time.
But honestly, the vision you have for creating like that wellness center you're talking about,
that's here.
It's got to be there. Like I can't
here or like Florida, and that's it. But the type of people that I'm going after, right outside of Venice, it's an area called Playa Vista, and that is it's the new epicenter of the tech boom here in Los Angeles. Yeah. So I want those execs, that only have 90 minutes of their day to come in. They get their workout in, they get their HIIT cardio. I can train them in 30 minutes on that device. Yeah. They get their hormone and everything in there. They hop in cryo, grab a juice, grab their meals, and they're out the door. They're going to drop 6 to 10 grand a month, no problem. For that. So, and then you're close enough to professional athletes, and I'm going to have everything where professional athletes are going to want to train there. So it's going to be a destination.
Yeah. So, you mentioned your wife is from LA. How long have you been with your wife?
We've been together for 8 years now. So we've been married for 5.
Okay.
And, she's born and raised, for the most part, born and raised here. So she has some family here, and, she's a Hispanic girl. So there's no way she's going to friggin' New Hampshire. She says brown doesn't go to snow.
Yeah.
So, we're here, and, she has a lot going for her here. And, before we bought our house, we looked everywhere. We were thinking about going to Vegas. We were thinking about going to Dallas area. We thought about going to Florida. We literally Boise, Idaho. We laid out the pros and cons everywhere.
Yeah.
Decided to stay, just because we know from building a name for ourselves and building a future for ourselves, this is where we need to be right now. Hopefully in 5 or so years, then we can move. But until then, this is where I need to be.
Is she a pro too? She's a pro too, right?
No.
She's not.
Yeah. She got 2nd and 3rd at nationals twice. Okay. And then after the injury, and she went through like severe metabolic damage and took forever to, get everything situated. She's like, I'm done with competing. She just wants to be healthy.
So she just works out just for health reasons.
Yeah. Just trains. She stays in good shape. She loves to train hard and heavy, but desire. She every once in a while she gets the desire to get back on stage, but she's got a lot going on. She runs a full-time dog rescue, and that's really emotionally and time consuming. Yeah. She just took over as the head of marketing for this huge private security company that does like video surveillance and armed guards and all this stuff. They have locations all across the country. So she just got herself a nice full-time job in the rescue. So she's busy.
Was she competing when you guys met?
No, she had dreams and aspirations of competing when we met, and I kind of forced her down that path.
Okay, so I have a theory about this, and I just want you to tell me if it's way off or not. So she wanted to compete. She met you. You were competing already, or you were?
Yeah.
So it made sense, right? Now, she's not competing and you seem like you're kind of away from it, do you think it's kind of like, what I'm trying to get at is this: if your partner, let's say she was still competing or she even turned pro, do you think your mindset would be different?
Not really. I don't think so. You know, she's the most supportive person in the world. If I told her I want to do 20 shows a year for the next 10 years, she'd be by my side.
Oh, no, I don't mean it that way. I don't mean as far as, I just mean like, I almost mean subconsciously. Like when your partner's doing something different, it kind of makes you want to do something different.
I can be an asshole sometimes to her. Like, you know, she gets really off track with eating and stuff like that. And I kind of ride her ass a little bit. You know, she starts getting a little fluffy. I'm like, hey, you know, you might want to put a,
how do you say it to her?
How long you put the egg whites instead of the whole eggs, baby?
Is that what you say to her? Is that how you get to kind of get the point across?
We're very blunt and upfront with each other. So
really,
whatever we have for issues, we kind of just put it on the table.
And it's okay.
I mean, we hate each other for a day or two, but that's what needs to be said, right?
You sleep on the couch or no?
I sleep in my recliner pretty often.
What you guys have any aspirations for kids or anything like that?
Yeah. Hopefully, we wanted to last year, and then not gonna lie, it was a really shitty year for us for our marriage. I mean, we talked divorce, everything.
Why? Do you mind getting into it?
Oh yeah, I mean it's fine. Like, I mean, so we're both very independent people, and one of the beauties of being independent is you don't need someone stuck up your ass all the time. Mm-hmm. But one of the other downsides is we don't put enough effort into each other. You know, we're like, oh, I can be busy, you know, 23 hours a day, and Brad's okay or Stephanie's okay because, you know, they're strong people. And so we just never nurtured our marriage enough. Yeah. You know, she got into the whole dog rescue thing, which is an amazing venture, but she kind of neglected her own business. She was doing business coaching and life coaching, and she just wasn't making money financially. And, you know, she was spending all this time rescuing dogs, and I just built up a resentment towards her. And, you know, so we had a really rough year. I just, you know, it came to a point where I have 4 dogs of our own, and I love my dogs individually, but 4 fucking big dogs is a lot. Yeah, man. And I come home and I'm stressed out, and I don't even want to be around them because all I want is like 30 minutes to decompress. Cause I was training like 10, 12 people a day almost all last year. And, you know, so just I built a point where I hated my home environment. Yeah. And, you know, so I would purposely take clients later at night so I didn't have to be home. You know, so, you know, we kind of hit rock bottom, and I kind of gave an ultimatum to get a full-time job or give me a kid. And she took the job. But, you know, we did the whole counseling thing, and we went to a counselor, and
really,
she was like, listen, you guys love each other. You know, it's apparent the way you talk about each other. It's like, you just don't put enough time and effort into each other. Yeah. So we made a pact that, you know, once a month we're going to go at least do a one-night getaway someplace, and we have certain date nights set up. And ever since Christmas, we've been, you know, it's not a long time, but with, you know, all those negative feelings and thoughts of divorce have been completely out the window, and things have been amazing since then. So
do you still have the 4 dogs?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So
I think 4 dogs is insane, man. I got a dog, and my dog's 16 years old, so he needs a lot of attention because he's so old. But we also have a cat, and I'm like, the 2 of them alone, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So I can't imagine him. Go ahead.
So I have a pit bull, a Doberman, and a German Shepherd that are all 3 years old, and then I have a 11-year-old Weimaraner, and he's starting to go downhill. And then we have 2 outdoor cats that randomly got adopted because they were down the street, and my wife started feeding them, and all of a sudden they started coming to our door. So we have 2 cats, and then on top of that, she has about anywhere between 7 and 9 dogs at a time in the rescue. They don't stay at my house most of the time, but every once in a great while we have to foster at my house. So like right now I have another dog that stays in her office, and you know, we can't interact with our dogs, so it's a juggling mess at times, you know.
That's crazy, man. That's got to wear on a relationship though.
It does. You know, and that's the thing, like individually I love my dogs. When you get 4 dogs together, big dogs, and they're just wrestling, and all you want to do is just decompress. Yeah. Unwind after the day. It's, you know, it created a stressful environment in the house. But again, on the flip side, she was working from home. I was never home because I worked my ass off. I wasn't showing her affection. So the only things that were showing her love and affection were these animals. So that's why she just got, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And every time that we came across, because 3 of the dogs are all strays that we found or rescues. And every time that we'd get another one, I thought in my head, okay, if I give her this dog, which is what she loves, then, because she was kind of like unsure about kids or didn't want them right away, I was like, if I give her dogs and make her happy, then she'll give me kids quicker. And it was kind of the fucking opposite.
So it sounds like you're the one. It sounds like you're the one chasing kids, and she doesn't want them or wants to wait.
She wanted to wait. She wanted to wait till she got a little older. She had dreams and aspirations that she wanted to accomplish before we had kids and things like that.
How old is she?
32.
Okay.
So she's no spring chicken either. So, clock's ticking.
You better hope she don't listen to this.
I'm going to have to trade her in soon.
It's funny you said that about date night. Me and my wife, we've been together for 13 years.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened. Well, we weren't on the verge of divorce. I mean, there was one year where it was pretty bad, but just this last year, we've started doing the same thing. Every Saturday night, we go out to like a nice dinner, not like some bullshit, like Five Guys or some shit. Like put on some nice clothes and go to a nice dinner and have like a couple drinks. And like, it's amazing though, when you put in the effort to do that and you might have a drink and it kind of loosens things up, how much fun you have with the person.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of forget why you married them in the first place.
Right.
And then when you start doing that shit, you're like, oh yeah, I actually like this person. Like she's fun to be with.
Yeah. I mean, I bitched about her, but like, I have a lot of lay to blame on that too. Here I am, I'm talking to clients all day and being social all day. And then I come home and the last thing I want to do is fucking talk.
That's right.
And she wants to talk about things. So that's what you do. And I'm just like, no. So I smoke a joint and I just shut off, It's like I caused a lot of it myself too. But it's like this past weekend, I had to go down to San Diego to work on Sergio. Sergio hired me to train him a couple times on the newbie going out. And I was like, you know what? Like, just come down with me. We'll get a nice hotel downtown San Diego, go out and get dinner. That's what we did, So like once a month we'll go someplace, a city, whether it's an hour away, go get a hotel room, go get a nice dinner, have a few drinks, throw on some lingerie, have some dirty, crazy hotel sex, and just spice things up. It's just you need that, and it's just it gives you a much better appreciation for the other person.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's amazing for yourself, for your own soul, to realize that, hey, I did make the right choice. This is the one I want to be with.
Well, it feels good when you can make them happy too. Like it makes her happy when I throw on like a dress shirt and I'm not wearing my fucking hoodie and a pair of warm-ups and I actually take her out somewhere nice for a glass of wine or whatever. Like, she appreciates it. So it makes them feel good that way.
Yeah. I think our biggest turning point was Christmas. So Christmas Eve, we had a huge blowout fight at her mom's house.
Yeah.
Her family started talking about like her obsession with animals, like when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And then that just snowballed and I started throwing punches left and right. And, next thing you know, she starts break down and crying and runs off. She never cries.
Yeah.
So we leave Christmas Eve early. So Christmas Day was kind of shitty. So we just spent the day together. And she tells me that she'd been late on her period. She's never late. And so we go to dinner. I'm like, all right, we'll go to CVS and get a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
But from when she told me all the way through dinner, through the movie, and when she took the test, I was so happy. And we were joking, laughing, having a good time.
Yeah.
And the next day I was like, how did you feel? Like, were you scared, seeing as we have had divorce talks really seriously? She's like, no. She's like, just seeing you happy and how we interacted made me feel so secure that you truly love me. And I think that was truly our turning point that really kind of changed things. Since then, we've been great.
That's good.
Funny how those moments just kind of can change you and make you realize how important that person is in your life.
I know that feeling. Me and my wife don't have kids. I don't think we've exhausted all possibilities, but we just don't have kids. And there was a couple times she was late, and I know the feeling. You get like this really giddy, like, you feel like a fucking child almost. Like you just have 100%. It was like one time she was late for a week. I'm like, this is the best week of my life.
Right. Exactly.
So, but I know the feeling. But I know you're right. It kind of reminds you what the person means to you and all that. So, so you mentioned training Sergio. Is that something you have a passion for? How many clients do you have?
So I average about 6-7 clients a day.
But this is all in the gym.
Yeah, all in the gym.
Do you do anything online?
Yeah, I have about 40 or so clients online that I do prep for. So I do a little bit of everything. I cook meals for people.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is it part of the service, or just because you're nice?
No. So I used to have a full-fledged meal prep company. Like before MegaFit and all these companies came out, me and a business partner started a meal delivery company in LA. We were doing 1,000 meals a week at one point.
Holy shit.
The business relationship just died. Like I wanted to kill him every time I saw him. So over the holidays when things kind of slowed down, I was like, let's just stop. And from there, I kind of maintained a bunch of clients that I had previously.
Yeah.
Slowly, I've been trying to dissipate them out. So I just have one set of clients now that I cook for his office staff at his business and cook for him for the meals for the week. So it's like 60 meals a week.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but
but do you charge? But do you charge for those clients, that food though, or do you just?
Oh yeah. I charge it's like $15 a meal. So I make about $10, so it's about $600 a week in extra income.
So you had this business. How long did you have that business for? The food prep business?
3 years, Performance Foods.
And you just dropped it?
Yeah. So we had different visions. He wanted to stick with like more gourmet, working with the upscale, Beverly Hills types, and I wanted to get to the meal delivery, the shipping stuff.
That's where the money is, though, the volume.
Right. And we just saw he didn't think that was a viable thing. And then arguments came about over how we were splitting up revenue and stuff like that. I was the one in the kitchen twice a week cooking. I was the one doing majority of the deliveries. We had a couple of employees. I was putting in all the man hours, and he was just basically doing the bookwork. And he was trying to pull some bullshit, saying that we had to split all the earnings and everything.
Yeah.
So it created a tense situation, and we dissipated. And then like 6 months later, it was like when MegaFit and Icon and all these things popped up, and I was like, fuck.
So you never thought about restarting it? I mean, you already have the experience for it and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It really was. And the biggest problem in LA is trying to find kitchen space. You're paying an arm and a leg to rent kitchen space. We were renting from a bakery. We could only use it from like 2:00 in the morning until like 4:30, 5 o'clock, because the bakers would come in, and before that there was food trucks that were in there. So it just from a logistics standpoint, it wasn't feasible to do in LA.
Yeah. Where'd you get the cooking experience from? Just from self-taught, or did you work somewhere?
Yeah, I was raised by a single mom. So if I wanted to eat, I had to learn how to cook.
So you're just self-taught.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple more questions before you go. I noticed your YouTube page is blowing up a little bit. I've seen some day in the life videos with some big numbers. Is that a passion for you, or just a hobby?
Just kind of a hobby. I mean, I really want to do more, but as you know, financially, like I can't videotape and edit shit myself.
Yeah.
So we get a point where like, oh, let's put out one video a week, and the next like you're dropping $2,400 a week of a month, and you're really seeing no return on revenue except for increasing, exposure.
Yeah.
So, and then most of the time, like my days are the same shit over and over again. I just train, I eat, I sleep, I work people. It's like how interesting can this be?
I know.
So that's why I'm not too consistent with it. Like once I hit prep and everything, obviously I'll pick things up a little bit. We'll do more. Like they love seeing stuff with me and my wife, because we're just we kind of spat back and forth.
Bicker,
yeah. So I mean, I'll try to do like a video a month at least, if not a little more, as we go forward.
Yeah, I run into that same problem because I'm trying to do a lot of YouTube videos now, and I'm like, the podcasts are easy because I have a different guest every week, and it's interesting just talking to different people, right? But I started doing these vlogs, and I'm like, my day is just the same shit. It's just like I'm eating, I'm training, I'm like, you start running out of content really fucking fast.
Exactly.
So
and people, they say like, how many workout videos can you do? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could have someone videotape me workout every day, but for what? I mean, there's no good value to that. They want to see more interesting shit. So it's.
I figure I'll keep doing it till they stop watching.
There you go.
If I keep putting up the same shit and they keep watching it, I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Okay, last couple questions. I just want to ask you. So, I'm curious about the keto diet. You said you did Japan on the keto diet.
Yes.
Do you carb load at the end for that?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
How hard do you carb load for that? Like, when do you start your carb load for that?
So that was actually, I took a risk, and I struck out hard going into Japan. My whole idea of going to the show was, I'm always told that I need to come in bigger and fuller looking, and I've always been known as more of a conditioning guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I do look a little stringy on stage, but with the stringiness also comes better waist control.
Yeah.
So for Japan, I decided I was going to carb up a little harder and really come in with a really full look. And I was doing like 1,000 grams of carbs, like 4 days into the show. And typically I never eat the day of a show. I don't want food in my stomach, so I can have, you know, a good vacuum and everything.
Yep.
I took down like 700 grams of carbs day of the show. My waist wasn't terrible, but I spilled. You know, I was a little watery looking. So it was kind of a failure from that point. You know, it's a learning experience.
The reason I asked is I kind of have the same thing you just mentioned. Like for me, like I have a wider waist, and I can be like the last like weeks, you know, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, my waist looks really good. And then once I start carb loading, it just goes like this.
Slows up. Yeah.
So I'm kind of the same thing. I don't want to eat the day of the show. So I was just curious, like, how do you go from being keto with your waist like perfect, and then you just start eating all these carbs? Does your waist just explode? Or like, let's say you didn't do the 700 grams the day of the show.
I think it would look okay, because like I did like a heavier carb load up until Friday, and then Friday was more of a heavy fat day. Just hold that load a little better. So it's less voluminous.
Yep.
So, and then when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I could have used a little more pop. So I decided to add more carbs in that day. I should have just stuck with the fats that day.
We're our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I always want to feel like I have more pop, and then it ends up being more pop in my fucking waist.
Right. So, and I've coached myself for the past 2 years too. So it's, you know, it's trial and error, but you know, I'd rather fuck up on my own fault than fuck up because someone else is guiding me.
Do you feel like you have a lot of freedom because you have such a successful personal training business?
Definitely.
Like what I mean is this: it feels like from our conversation so far, it feels like you take time off whenever you want from competing. It feels like you can change your diet whenever the fuck you want, not worry about not doing well. You coach yourself, all these things. Is that all a result of having your own like financial freedom?
Oh, 100%. You know, I mean, and just being realistic with where I see myself going. You know, if I had a frame, if I was 2 or 3 inches wider through the clavicles, things might be different. You know,
you'd look like Jay Cutler.
Right. You know, I might pursue things harder, but I know that no matter how hard I push things, how much drugs I push, and how big I get, structurally, I'm never going to be one of the elite guys. So,
I know, but I guess what my point was, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Just trying to clarify my point. So I guess what I mean is the reason you can pull back and the reason you can have such clarity, in my opinion, or just from what I'm listening to, is you have this really successful personal training business and other businesses. And it feels like that gives you the freedom to be like, you know what, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it.
Right. I mean, I'm not reliant on bodybuilding. I'm not reliant on the stage. I do the stage because I love it. I love the process. I'm a masochist. I love the pain. I love the suffering.
Yeah.
I love all that. So even if I'm not going to be the most competitive, I still do it because I love the process of it.
Yeah.
And I love being on stage.
I actually identify with you a little bit because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you have as many injuries as I do.
Yeah, always.
Really? Is it just the way we train, or what is? I can never put my finger on.
People will give me shit all the time, but I'm like, I push myself to the absolute limits almost every single workout. Eventually, something's gonna give. You know, I didn't train smart throughout my career at all.
Yeah,
it was just push as much weight as you can. You know, it was just grip it and rip it. You know, my first like 6 or 7 reps, clean form. Then after that, maybe we're going till I can't hold on to myself anymore. You know. That's just how I do with everything, with be it plyometric work, whatever. You know, so we push our bodies to such great boundaries, something's going to give.
But I feel like other bodybuilders push them. Like I train hard, but I feel like other bodybuilders train as hard as I do. And I feel like my body just can't hold up. Yeah. Is it just a genetic thing, you think?
I think so. I mean, there's going to be some type of tensile strength to tendons and stuff like that. But again, I'm also on top of health stuff. You know, I'm taking collagen, I'm doing the BPC 157, all this stuff, and I still get tears and shit like that, you know, but it's something that I've also had throughout my whole career. You know, I mean, tore my hamstring like 10 times in college playing football.
Yeah.
I always had these little injuries and stuff like that. So, you know, I do think that there is a genetic play in it, but I also think that we're wired to not stop until we break.
Yeah. Do you think I find it really hard when someone looks at me and is like, why don't you just train differently? And I'm like, I'm trying to train differently. I do my best to train, but somehow it still fucking happens.
Yeah.
Like,
I tried the whole, I trained with Charles Glass for a couple of years. I love Charles and he's a great trainer, but just the slow squeeze and everything else. Like I watch like how Ben Mikulski trains people 40-second reps. And it's just like, that's so fucking boring.
That's exactly it.
I lost my passion for training when I trained with Charles. I had to leave.
Yeah.
I lost that desire. Every day I go to the gym, I was just like, fuck, I don't want to be here.
That's right.
And if you feel like that, you're in a losing battle. No matter how great the training might be for you, you're in a mentally losing battle. You have to do it the way you love it.
No, I agree with you. And I actually said that to somebody because somebody was asking me like, what do you think about the slow squeeze, time under tension, fucking that kind of training? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying to say it doesn't work, but it's not fun.
Right.
Like I have to have fun when I'm training. Like that's the whole reason I'm there.
Right. Because we love what we do. We're so passionate about what we do. Every aspect has to be great.
Yeah. What is next for you, Mr. Rowe?
So I'm going to do the Arnold Brazil.
Yep.
And like I said, I might do the New York Pro, but definitely the Cal and the Boston show. And then I'm going to see what kind of overseas shows are in the fall. So
is there anything you want to plug or promote or anything any message you want to put out there before we go? Because everybody always has thoughts that they want to get out and never kind of get a chance to get them out. Is there anything you?
I plugged AD already. Just want to thank Joe for sticking behind me for 5 years. And another person that really got me into the keto is Joe's been a lifetime keto guy.
Oh, really?
And has done a ton of research, written articles for magazines and everything. And so he's kind of put a lot of his life effort into understanding keto. So he's made me feel a lot more comfortable when I was doing this because it was always something I'd pick his brain on.
Mm-hmm.
And just a great supporter. NewFit, I want to thank them for helping me because not only did they get me set up with the device, but they've helped promote me and push some amazing athletes my way. And it really kind of gave me a new lease on life. A year ago, before I got the newbie, I was just training people every day and I just kind of got bored with it, sick of it, and didn't like training anybody anymore. And now I've opened a whole new realm where I'm working with professional athletes. I have Olympic track athletes on my roster.
Yeah.
I'm working with all these crazy celebrities and stuff, helping them rehab from all these injuries. It's opened so many doors for me. So I'm so grateful for that. My wife, she's my rock. And, and everybody out there, just do what you love and do what you're passionate about and stay true to who you are. And I think that's the biggest issue is people try to become something that they're not, or try to become, try to create their physique or something that they don't really love just to appease judges and appease fans and things like that. Just do it how you want to do it. Do what you love and you'll find success in life.
Okay. I am not going to do keto, but
I'll get you on one day.
But I'm actually really interested in the fast. Yeah. So when I decide to start fasting, I'm going to hit you up and see if you can give me some tips and shit. Cause I think I want to try John's method of doing the 24-hour fast a week, every week, and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'll hit you up and see if you can give me some pointers on how to get through it. Cause I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get through it.
Are you going up to the Arnold?
I'm hoping so. Yeah. I think Luke and James are going to come here. We're going to go to the Arnold and meet up with John Meadows and Evan Senapani. Okay. So I'll be there. Are you going to be there?
Potentially. Sergio's been begging me to go out there. I'm going to try to set something up. So I might go out and train people all week on the machine going into the show.
Are you working with Sergio on more than just the newbie, or are you doing his diet at all?
No, just the newbie. Yeah. But, part of what it does is it volumizes tissue so much. So it gives you such a great pump going into that week before the show that he's begging me to go out there. And so is Dexter to help them out that last week. So
yeah,
I might go out there and set up some training. I was going to say, I want to get you on it and just let you out, just blow your mind.
I was just going to ask you if you can save a slot for me. I'd love to try it once.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's touch base again, like before the Arnold, see if we can set something up.
All right, brother.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Fouad.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.